start, eh? Hello, everyone. Yes, this is our first live at Get in the House, and welcome everyone. This is going to be an open discussion, but we mostly paint Abaddon the Despoiler. I am going step by step in this. It's not really a guide, it's more like an open discussion that I am having with my friend that accepted this invitation named Orangiaka. Orangi, how are you doing?
Hello, hello. Yes, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, excellent. All right. So, yeah, so thanks for accepting this invitation. It's our first live stream, and I'm really happy, not to do this alone. It's always better when there are more when there's many people participating. And thank you very much for participating with me. And people out there, you can also see his field of view as he is painting things on his side as well. And Orangi, what are you painting on your side? Please introduce us to what you're painting right now.
A non-chaotic marine, which is Azrael, the chapter master of the Dark Angels.
So you got into the Dark Angels, and I know that some time ago you did start an army, but you sold them you sold them out, right? You sold them recent some time ago. And
Yeah, exactly. I used to have like more or less a 40k army that was a team out of the pre-Heresy team colors. So, and most of them were models from Forge World and stuff like that. And well, I like to change project once in a while, and I felt that I was not going anywhere with that project. The paint job was good. It was good overall, but it wasn't there I wanted to be at. So I decided just sell them, and it will please someone else and make a few bucks out of it, and then we start on something else. And now I'm back again on Dark Angels.
so, do you plan on getting Lionel Johnson eventually?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, in coming weeks, I will get one. Though I'm going for an alternative color pattern because I don't dig the forest green that regular Dark Angel use. I don't know, something with it feels like two salamanders kind of, and I don't dig the salamander color pattern. So where I'm going at right now is uh white. So today I'm trying to go for white, and robes will be black.
So you will be
Uh,
going for white Dark Angels.
yep, yep.
That's
Not bleach bone, white.
okay. I see. So like the Terminator, not even the Terminator kind that we used to see on the Games Workshop site, and for the Deathwing.
Yeah, no, because they use like those kind of a beige color, which is called like the bleach bone white. So I'm trying. It's a big word saying I'm going to do because I don't know if I have the skill yet to get where I want to go. But yeah, I try to go for a more brighter white. Not necessarily like super pristine tool white. Uh, but yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. But funny thing is that I figure out like if why not doing white because it's the hardest color, and why not do it in non-metallic metal kind of technique, which I don't master. So it'll be a long process of practicing and failing and be disappointed.
Maybe you're a bit too harsh on yourself, but going non-metallic metal with white plates, this is definitely going to be a challenge. I mean, like you are getting into a really big project. But it's not
Yep.
unusual of you to get like those fresh ideas out of the box. And I think it's something that is quite relevant. Thinking out of the box for paint schemes, even if the Dark Angels are white, maybe that would be open to debate. But I think it could still be a good, a good paint scheme for them, even if it's going to be maybe a bit lighter than the Deathwing. I'd like to
Yeah.
see the lion in that team. I'd like to see the lion in that team. It would be actually something to look at.
Yeah, I know that there's one guy that did a white lion for the game when it was released for the preview of the model. I wasn't too thrilled about his paint job because the white was okay. It was really like flat white. There was like no depth in it, and his goal was really too boring. It was like there was no shadow in his goal. It was just applying Retributor Gold, and that's it. So yeah, I'll try to go with something that is more structured and it has like a bit more complexity because I do tend to like perfect my skills and trying to be better every time that I paint. And I'm trying to win those goddamn prize that always elude me and on small RTTs or GTs for best paint. So because there's more and more good paint out there, and I always like shoot myself down because I'm sorry, I'm saying, oh, I'm going to do this type of list, and when I get to the tournament, my list is not ready, so it doesn't look like anything really yet worthy of winning a prize. So now I'm trying to commit to a few figurines at a time, which is kind of difficult.
Yeah, there's so many miniatures to paint in an army, and when you want to get ready for a tournament, it can be quite tedious over time. And for listeners, if you don't know, what Orangi is a veteran player from many tournaments. He has experience. Contrary to me, I've participated in maybe one tournament, so we're not. I'm not really a tournament player. We play Warhammer 40k more casually than competitively. We still like it. We still talk on the topics, of going, what is competitive and what is not competitive, so to say, the most played miniatures and everything. So yeah, well, you did participate in a couple of tournaments, and I remember one time you even uh, I got a serious ass kicking from one of your Space Marine tournament list.
Yeah, well, I mean, you challenged me to do something really hard for you, and yeah, that's what happened.
It did work. It did work. I didn't see it coming. It was the era of the Smash Captain.
Yeah, yeah, that one, yeah. Well, I mean, the game before the a few weeks before that, you did the like I went easy on you, so you did like kick my ass really hard with your sneaky Baneblade as a Talarn. So I was like, okay, well, I need to step up a bit.
Yeah, I did deserve. I deserve that. I deserve that totally. The like the Bane Blade behind the post thing.
Yeah, and the Sentinels that are rushing to lock you down, stuff like that. I was like, okay.
Exactly. I think I did something like this with, yeah, and you were playing Custodes.
Uh, yeah, exactly. And you tabled me basically.
You were playing Custodes, and they were not that strong in that edition compared to what they are right now. And yeah, I remember that game. It was quite an ass beating. I remember.
Yeah, yeah, because custodians at the time, well, even now, they don't have much answers to big armor, since they are really more of a melee focus. And when you go through a Bane Blade that has a invuln save, -2 hit, and stuff like that, it's pretty challenging because there's so much wound that not in a single phase you can get rid of it, especially as custodians. There's other armies that has like way to do tons of damage in a single round of close combat. But in that period of time, custodies were so up and down because most of the damage were D3s or D6, so you
Oh
could
my.
never be sure if you were able to do enough runes to get something out of the table.
Custodies definitely improved their competitively speaking. They did improve their effectiveness compared to what they used to be. Like it's a very elite, it's a heavy elite army, and
Yeah.
I wasn't really used to play against them. I'm still not. It's still a challenge I'd like to face at some point. I'll probably get my ass kicked. Maybe,
I don't
yeah,
think so.
I think I would because there is there was something because for people um for people joining us right now, I used to be a heavy Astra Militarum player since fifth edition. I really like the army and the faction, and I always wanted to do the Chaos Space Marine thing, and that's why I am going heavy on Space Marine right now. It's way funnier to play. I like it better. It's tougher. It's heavier, and there's more than a way to play rather than the like Astra Militarum have this one-sided strategy with artillery and infantry right now. It's not really like you don't have any versatility. You can play your Lemon Rosses and Chimeras and infantry, but in the end, what will do the heavy lifting are the Basilisk and all the artillery like Manticores and what is it a Manticore? Yeah, it's the Manticore. The Wyvern is not really used. It's not used that much anymore. They really go heavy on the Basilisk and the Manticores to do all the heavy lifting right now, and it's quite a shame because like the whole army has went to a single monoplayable strategy faction, and that's kind of a letdown in the end, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and not only that is, I think Astro Militarum is a pain in the butt to play because yeah, you need to think of so much stuff, especially when you need how to manage your troop correctly because the, the name of the game is to use your troop to control objectives and stuff like that. And you don't want to waste your troops with stupid charge or just sacrificing for nothing your troops. So I found that it's a bit more complex in term of auras. Well, now the auras are gone, but the the placement and preparing and thinking of what the opponents will do so that you try to minimize the effect on of what you'll do in the next round on your army. So I found it is really hard. Even though like the models are really nice, I do enjoy the concept of the army, but it's a bit hard.
It kind of turned into like a Finnish army rather than what it used to be.
Mm.
Yeah, you need a lot of preparing for your orders and everything, and for me, it's kind of a letdown. It used to be simple to play, and I don't want when I'm playing a game of 40K, I don't want to think too much. I want to think about the objective plays and the what needs to be done. And when I find myself trying to find out what is the best strategy mid game to actually achieve something, just achieve something, not even winning, it's really it's not the satisfying area in which I want to find myself in. So ends the change of heart and going through going sorry going with the Chaos Space Marine. Anyway, it's an army that I wanted to play for a long time ago, since a long time ago. I'm sorry, and yeah, there we are. So, um, just speaking about maybe to give more detail about how I am painting Abaddon the Despoiler, if you mind. So basically, the point is doing all of the base coating for the armor, but as you can see there, I'm not going metallic for the trims. I will be strictly going from not for non-metallic metal all the way. It will be a slight challenge. I've already done it on one another model for the MCP game. It was Thanos. Okay, I did that, and I will still be able to achieve the same result, though it will be a bit time tedious. But here we can see like the base coat is really great. Okay, I really have to pay a lot of attention to every single detail, as Abaddon is oh my god, there's so much areas you got to cover to make sure that everything will appear as harmonious as possible. So the most struggling thing right now is to get all the areas covered so I don't have to do a second coat over all the parts, like leaving no white areas out there. I really want to get all those areas covered so that I don't see any like kind of white glint at the end when my miniature will be finished. And I am using the box as a reference as well, so I can see where are the all the details to be applied to. So I still have the box for the people listening. I've got the box right here, and I'll still use it as a reference. It's quite handy having this besides, so I can take a look at it and have a good idea of what I am doing in the end. Yes. All right. So thanks for listening on that part, Orangi. And
It's okay. I forgive you.
yes, and so we did not have quite a busy summer. On my side, I was actually taking it pretty easy. We had the occasion, well, or rather the opportunity of going to an event together, you and I, isn't it? Huh?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was really interesting. I would say.
we went we went to an event called Otakuthlon. It's in Montreal, Quebec, Palais des Congrès. So for those who are listening, we're French Quebecers from the province of Quebec in Canada, and Montreal is a kind of a weird mix of French speaking and English speaking people. So when we go to those events, like everyone speaks both languages. It's rather quite interesting as a situation. But everybody is quite fluent in both language, so it was quite nice. What was the for you for that event, because it's a big event. Honestly, going there for the first time, okay, and you kind of introduced me, invited me to Otakutlan. When we were actually going there, I wasn't really aware of um, what I was getting myself into. Man, it was so crowded. It was so crowded on a Saturday. How many people? Do you recall how many people were there?
I don't know, but I saw the number of like of the whole event for the 3 days.
For the whole
It was
weekend?
over. Oh, yeah, for the whole weekend, it was 35,000 attendees.
35,000. It's like a small stadium attendance for like not even a stadium. room room spaced event. Okay. I'm quite surprised, and at the same time, honestly, I am not, because the most tedious thing about this event is the time that you had to wait in line for about 3 hours if you did not get your tickets in advance. And you know what, people? What do you think we have not done? Buy your tickets in advance. So we ended up, getting there and waiting in line for 3 hours. We actually required a lot of subject to talk about. Like we needed a list. I mean, like honestly, I was happy to be hanging around with you, but at some point, I was running out of things to say. You know, like everything to be said had been said. It quite.
Yeah, well,
Ah,
it's not easy, and well, I mean, I don't know if it was worth the wait or not. That depends on your point of view on that. I did really enjoy it. It did awaken something in me.
honestly, on my side, if you want my honest opinion, I think we should have gone on a Sunday
Mm,
where there were
yeah.
there was less people attending because it was really a mess getting out there.
Mm,
I still it meant the drudgery, just waiting in line. My back was hurting after some time. I was like, oh no, come on, man. I mean, like I'm not that old. I'm not supposed to get those backaches yet. And do
should
you
have
know
brought
the
a
do
folding chair.
do you maybe security would have brought me one if I had collapsed or something, but I would have felt really bad, honestly. Um, you know what? It was really a great event, but it was. I'm so sorry. It was so crowded that I was really doubting the fact that we had a deadline. We
Mm,
had to leave around 5 or something, and maybe no bad feelings towards you, but I think we should have gone on Sunday. I
that's
wasn't
okay.
expecting at all to wait for 3 hours for that
Uh,
event.
I was expecting maybe like 1 hour, but 3 hours, yeah, it was kind of bunkers.
Oh, it was, yeah, that's going lightly. That's going lightly. Like, yeah, I was expecting maybe an hour or something like this, but 3 hours, my god. And it cost like $60, and we
Mm,
spent maybe 3 hours going around, and 3 hours for you, my beautiful painters listening. It's not even it's not even going in depth in one area, because it's the kind of event that starts at 10 a.m. and ends at 2 p.m. at 2 a.m. in the morning the next day. There is a lot to see. I mean, there were like game competitions, a lot of cosplay, a lot of retailers. There were really a lot of people on many areas and many topics. I mean, like, do you remember when even going to the restaurant would take 1 hour waiting in line?
yeah,
Yeah,
it was pretty insane.
we were talking to the guy, at the entrance, who was kind of doing all this, all the, the reception. And he said it's about an hour just to get your food. It's like, okay, come on, man. We won't wait that time. We already waited 3 hours in line. I mean, I think I'd rather starve. I'd rather starve than waiting another hour just to get a $20 sandwich, because I'm pretty positive that this is what it would have costed anyway.
Yeah, $20 for a sandwich that is okay, but not super.
In this area, this is what I might be expecting. So, it might be better just to save ourselves that waiting time, and just maybe fasting for. No, we're talking about fasting topics now, and maybe fast for like 2 or 3 hours before we can get a proper meal or something. Oh my, yeah, it was quite the experience. The experience, I liked it, but I think I would have rather gone on a Sunday. But we had time restraints, and you had also other stuff to do on your side as well. So we had kind of to go through some compromises. So it was I was okay with that in the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, next year we know what to expect. If you still want to go, well, I'm going, that's for sure. But I mean, if you want to go, we'll set up our stuff differently. It will be better.
Maybe
next time.
expecting maybe expecting a time maybe on a Sunday, even though that it's more like they were saying that it's more like for families.
Mm.
But man, come on, who wants to wait like 3 hours to attend an event? Not anymore. It's way too much time for precious for our lives to spend on waiting in line.
Life is short to wait.
Life is too short to wait. We have other stuff to do. That's the thing. That is the thing. So as I am painting Abaddon right now, the trims are nearly all done. I noticed that there were some spots I forgot to do. I initially intended to go with those trims here in silver metal, but on the box art behind, it's showing different. Like it's going gold yellow, gold yeah, it's gold yellow. So I had to change my strategy around those trims here, though it would have still have ended into a nice effect. But on the other hand, I would still be able to pursue my goal of going NNM in those areas as well. It's just that it's going to be a lot of freaking NNM all the way around. But the cape is mostly going to cover all this area here. So all the back is like it's not even worth painting this because the cape, when I'll be painting that cape, except maybe the part where we can see here, maybe that part. Okay, I will have to paint it nonetheless. Uh, but look at this, like all the coverage with the cape. I mean, like you don't even have to do the back of the front leg, but just this part here. But then again, if you look sideways on the miniature, you might be able to see some details that might have better have been covered. Yeah. All right.
But yeah, Otakuthlon, man. Next year, I'm going at least 2 days and try to do two cosplays for each day.
You
'Cause
will disguise yourself.
yep, yep. Definitely, man. It's part of the whole experience, I think. And from the small interaction we had with those cosplayer, like they are genuinely passionate people and really fun. So
That's
I
true.
want to make new friends with them. I mean, they are my people.
Yeah, and we talked about that. I actually, there was an acquaintance of mine, actually kind of working that day there, and she was cosplaying on the first day, and she actually told me that everybody out there at the Otakuthlon, they all get along. I mean, no one harasses anyone. Everyone has fun, and even in the streets, I mean, you can feel the vibe. There's so many people out there, even in the streets. You see cosplayer just walking down the street, and we all go to the same event. You didn't even have to ask for directions because you just have to follow the people disguised. So yeah, I liked that. I really liked that. I like that event. In my opinion, honestly, I think we did not, fully entertain ourselves for
Definitely.
all of the things that could be done there. Like there are freaking events that ends at 2 a.m. in the morning on Sunday, which are part of the Saturday, the day prior. Uh, it's like you go there, you eat there, you sleep there, you go to a bar, you take a beer. Don't you? Do you agree with this?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm not sure about is sleeping there though, but yeah, I mean, it takes a full day to at least get most of the cool stuff. I mean, we missed at the on Saturday night the masquerade where all the cosplayers
Yeah,
are regrouped and they are judged and stuff like that. So it was but I mean, whatever. Well,
we kind of missed
next
like
time.
the main parade,
Yeah.
but it's okay because you had something scheduled. So I mean, like there was no way going around this. It's totally agreeable and no problems there. Maybe next year.
Yeah, definite. Well, next year I'll probably be on the parade, so
You will be on the parade, and so did you think about what you would disguise yourself in for that event?
yeah. Yep. A lot
Can,
of people don't agree,
can you
and
give me a
it's
hint?
funny.
Can you give us a
Uh,
hint of what your disguise will be next year?
well, I'm doing a gender bender. It won't. It's a female characters. I'll be cosplayed, but as a man. So
I
basically, I'll
totally see you
adjust.
coming.
Huh?
I totally see you coming.
Yep.
Okay.
So uh, I'll just dress up as a male version of that character. I mean, girls do that when they like a specific male character. So why men cannot do that? So
So in the end, what you're telling us is that you will be dressing up as a female, but and we've seen many guys dressed as females out there.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
it was
mean,
pretty cool. You know, all the hairs and on the chest with the with the dress up. I mean, it was more like a manly way to dress up without losing their virility.
yeah, I mean, in a way, I guess. Uh, I guess like if you're comfortable to be dressed up and even like going full blown uh, uh, cross dressing, I mean, your virility is pretty much intact because you're totally assuming what you're wearing. So people that refuse to acknowledge that part is just clothing. It doesn't matter. It
Yeah,
doesn't change the the person
it's
you're
a
behind.
free-minded space.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
everyone can do what they want to do. No one's going to look at you in a weird way, and that's kind of the staple of that kind of event. I mean, you go there, you're with your kind of people, and you want to dress up, then you just dress up, and nobody will bother you with that. It's the charm. It's the charm that I discovered of that place because honestly, at the first glance, I was like, oh my, this is this is like out of the usual cultural space that we are used to. And god, it was a pleasant experience, really, and I really did enjoyed it. um, Speaking of painting Abaddon, I've noticed on the
I thought you were
box
saying,
art.
speaking of cross dressing, let's talk about Abaddon.
Let's talk about Abaddon or Friendly Despoiler, with with his dress up as a Chaos Space Terminator Space Marine. I am about to paint his cloth red. This is going to do a great contrast with his armor, and I want to go there. Even though that is old cape, looking at the back of the cape, I want to go red there. Though the cape is brown, it's more like a brownish black. I think I have this color. It's dried bark from Citadel. It's kind of a dried bark, but the red will really stand out. I mean, just for the cloth in the front, it might not have like this uh, universality around it. Now, looking at the box art, I'm becoming hesitant. Isn't that weird? I I had like the most adamant decision taken for the cloth and the cape. The cape was going to be red because it's chaos. It's really aggressive. But it seems like on Abaddon, on the box art behind, this part right here, this this is it's like a rather like neutral tone. And the red parts like his hair and his belt really stand out. I'm wondering if I am not just changing plans right now, just in the middle of the way like that. Boom. Huh. This is a really it's a really tough decision. I don't know if I'm going to go red then. Hmm. Food for thought. Food for thought. Pink maybe? Maybe pink. I don't know if a pink cloth will
Black pink Badon.
black pink Abaddon. Like
Yep.
it would bring
Well,
the Slanish
yeah.
essence.
Well, you know the Korean group Blackpink, no?
Oh, I've heard about them.
Yeah. Well, I mean they're pretty huge, so
Yeah, I've heard about them. The Black Pink. It's a group. Yeah, it's a woman's group. Like all the K-pop,
yeah, exactly.
all
Well,
the K-pop
there's male
idols.
K-pop too.
Like there's not many men idols in the in the K-pop industry. It's kind of weird that we talk about this because yeah, I know you're pretty versed in the K-pop industry.
Well, yeah.
That's an interesting topic, and I think what I will let you lead this
That
topic
boy.
on your side. You want to talk about K-pop? I mean, like, go ahead, and we might as well like paint Abaddon's cloth in red. You know what I think about it? Maybe black purple. A purple will be quite a strong purple. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
purple is not yet is not used enough. I find it
but
in the 40K.
purple brings royalty in some way.
Yeah, well, it's a color reserved historically a color reserved for royalty.
It was
But
reserved for royalty, even in the Roman Empire, like the like authority positions. People in authority positions they had to wear purple, and the color was so expensive to get on your cloth that they used to save like all of their savings just for show in the army. So purple might be something. I would need a strong purple. I am not. Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Oh, you got me there. Oh, you got me there. Look at
that would
this.
be pretty sick.
Oh yeah. Okay. You know what we'll be doing? We'll be mixing those two colors, Nagaroth Night and Corvus Black. Um, Nagaroth Night is a strong purple, and we'll tone it down with this black, but this black has some blue in it. So it will give a kind of a blue glint, blue glint or something like that. I want to go there. So let's do this. Let's do this. All right. Oh, you're giving me ideas. I like that.
That's
Definitely a good thing.
pretty cool.
I know that you had to come on this live stream, not for that purpose, but for getting different ideas and everything. So I'm pretty glad I did. So we'll do just that. So I shake my pen pretty well, and I will let you lead the talk on the K-pop idol. Please
Uh,
introduce us to that specific domain.
well, I mean, you mentioned like about bands not being popular, stuff like where there's not enough men in the K-pop industry.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the best or well, best and biggest K-pop group in the moment is BTS, which is a male K-pop group.
And that's funny enough
And
because I think I've heard of them.
so if you heard of them, then it means it's pretty big.
It's BTS. Yeah, that's
Yep.
true. That's a male group.
Yep.
And they are they're super hyper popular. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Blackpink is pretty much the biggest one in term, I guess, in female size, and I'm not sure though on compared to BTS. I don't know all the numbers, but like both of them are pretty huge. Like the fan and numbers just obliterate any other living bands, I guess, that exist. It
Even would you wage against like the Rolling Stones?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about if you go check some videos of those K-pop bands, we talk about billions of views, in a short period of time compared to Stones that took years and years to build their reputation and their following. The K-pop industry is just so strong that in matters of months and maybe in a few years, a band can go from incognito to superstars
Really?
with world tours and stuff like that. Yeah, but there's a lot of there was a lot of scandals related to K-pop industry before. Uh, the dark side of it, they talk about human trafficking and stuff like that. So, uh,
Are you freaking serious?
yeah, but I wouldn't. I'll let the people that watch this live do their own research about it. Um, but yeah, there was some case of people in the industry taking an advantage of girls. So the that's what happened, and the concept behind the grooming of the K-pop idols is kind of bad in a way because most minus like I know that now Blackpink is pretty much even. They get most of the money from the revenue from their shows and disc and stuff like that.
Oh, I see
But
where
most
you're
of
getting
the
into. Hmm.
yeah, most of the other bands, boys or girls, they get barely the money from it from all their tours and CDs and T-shirt sales and stuff like that. Um, because most of them they have to go to a special school to get trained as being an idol. So in dancing and singing and how to behave and stuff like that. Uh, Basically, the industry gives you a loan of a few $100,000 as a young teen or preteen, and you go to that school and you need to repay that loan. And how you repay is by giving most of your revenue to concert revenue, CDs, and merch to the business
Oh
until it's
my.
repaid.
I laughed, but it's not even funny.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
It's pretty sad. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not. I have
But
a
yeah,
bad
I mean,
habit of putting my pen in my mouth when
yeah,
managing
right.
many pencils at the same time. What you
It's
got?
yeah. So there's a dark side. Well, I mean, there's always a dark side behind everything. This one is pretty gruesome, but that's how the industry is. And I mean, that's why like bands in the past, like No Effects and stuff like that, did songs against the industry. The first song that come in mind is "Dinosaurs Will Die." It was strictly aimed at the music industry that is just there to leech on people with talent. But yeah,
See,
that's
that's
another
a
debate.
really interesting topic because I didn't know that there was even a school. I mean,
Yeah, they
there's literally a school where you can go to get your pop idol skills up to the task and oh my. So yeah, so there is a dark side. I know that they were not allowed to like to get a boyfriend. I knew that. I knew that every if you were a girl, I think it would be the same thing for boys. If you are a girl in the K-pop industry, and at some point there's even an end of that woman of having a boyfriend, her career is over because all of the guys out there are still, still might still be awaiting the moment for them to get with the girl. It's kind of how it works in this field. It's kind of sad. I must admit, it's really really sad.
Yeah, yeah, and some of them were able, depending on your label, some of them are able to get a private life, but it's pretty hard. You need to be really influential as an artist.
I wasn't expecting this at all. I mean, okay, poor girls in this poor girls in this field, really.
Yep.
And now talking about Abaddon, the thing is, we've spoken together about his great deeds, and lore wise, speaking lore wise, like he is the you said like, yeah, it's rather Felbedon, and it's like, oh my, Felbedon, what? Well, I thought that Abaddon did nothing wrong, but obviously at some point he might have done he might have done something wrong. My, okay, so what is lore wise, what is the thing, because the, he did something around like 13th Crusade. Was that it?
Yep.
13th
Yeah.
Crusade? And in the last one, he attacked Cadia specifically because there were pylons, I think, protecting the warp from entering the region as such.
Yeah, that was for the Gathering the Storm campaign that Games Workshop put out. And well, I mean, it fell down because every other crusade he tried to do something, he got his ass whooped, and he didn't succeed nothing at all. And and every time he tries something, his plans always miserably fail. And even the last one when he attacked Cadia and destroyed the planet, he had to sacrifice so much resource to that there's no win in it. I don't see where there's a win in it. And the only one I think there's a win, even though I don't think it was there, is um the the when the lion, the lore related to the waking up of the lion, the chaos actually won on that part. But I don't think that he really like succeeded in anything. But I guess he's a great villain that needs to fail because we need to the good guys, or kind of the good guys, the Imperium, to win.
There's a time for the good guys to get their things rolling.
Yeah. Eh, well, I mean, we'll see where it goes, but because they cannot bring back Horus, so they need to have someone to keep his place. So, well, I don't know if they'll ever bring back Horus. I mean, that would be something if they do, but
But Chaos had they had a lot. I mean, like, all the demon primarchs, or the primarchs that they actually got before we got even another.
well, there will be Fulgrim if there's one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they now have, they have Angron, they have the Magnus the Red, they have what's the name of the Dead Guard one?
Mortarion.
Mortarion. They have Mortarion as well. And what does the Imperium have? They have Gilliman, and now they have the Lion, and that's all they had. They only had Gilliman for a long period of time. It's like every Demon Primarch was coming back, and the Loyalist faction of the Space Marine had no one to play, and you so the only one that the only Primarch that you had was that you could bring into battle was Gilliman, and I mean they are so strong. I mean rule wise, the Mortarion was really a mess to deal with. I mean, like he was on the battlefield, you had to bring the EV artillery to down him.
Yeah, well, I mean, his in that time in his previous form, the aura that gives mortal wound was so strong. You cannot get rid of him in melee, so you had to have like big guns to get rid of the model on the table.
So it was quite a thing. The only time, no, that's not true. I'm lying right there. I've confronted. Well, I fought Mortarion twice. I fought him twice, and the first time was in a big game. I think we were like 10 or 12 players, like Loyalist faction against Chaos faction, and we had Abaddon in front of us with Mortarion as well. And somehow he managed to. I don't know how he did that, but he seemed. I don't know if there were house rules, but he managed to deep strike Abaddon somewhere else instead of in front of us, and we still had Mortarion in our face. And I was playing with our good friend Mundi. It was at that time it was playing Imperial Knights, and I was playing Imperial Guards or Astra Militarum, and I had the opportunity, which I never had in like 100 games. My Baneblade was still alive after turn one. So I shut the hell out of Mortarion because I could, and my friend Mundi finished the job with his Imperial Knights. He exploded himself into Mortarion, and that was the end of it. But there were the other time was against one of my other friends, Frederick. He is playing Mortarion as well. He has the Dead Guard faction, and I don't even remember how much turn how many turn his miniature Mortarion stayed on the table. It was like boom. So I never saw his effectiveness in close combat. Nothing. Because every time I played against him, he died to shooting. And I said to myself, well, what a shame, because I want maybe at least once I want to see what he can do in close combat, because I never had the opportunity to see that.
Well, he was deadly. I don't know if now if he is or not, but in the in that time when he was released, I was playing Custodes, and yeah, my guards couldn't do anything against it. It was just like big ass blob that I cannot do anything. That once it reached me, all my models were just evaporating because of this mortal wound. And
Because he was so strong. Because he was so strong. And speaking about all the failed crusades Abaddon led, I mean it must take a lot of balls to actually ask all the factions of Chaos Space Marines out there, like working like war bands, to go together to war and say, you know what, I am the boss, you get under my banner, and we go to war together. I mean, this
mm,
guy, he goes, and I read, I was reading, I don't know what book it was, but I think it was about the story of Karn the Betrayer, and at some point you see Abaddon speaks and asks one of his legionnaire, "Go and fetch me Karn, because I want him to be under my banner when we will strike against the Imperium." And the balls it takes, to assume responsibility over, such a large faction that are like,
Mm-hmm.
and they are all like war bands and scattered war bands. I mean, the astonishing leadership. You have to unite, like, hatred, totally, hating Space Marine. We will. They're only going like, we will unite ourselves towards your banner because we want to screw the loyalist faction. That's exactly what he is doing, because otherwise, I think there's no way that they will band together unless unless it's to give a several beating, to any kind of Imperium faction they will encounter.
Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Well, I mean, Karn is a nice model.
Karn,
I guess
yes,
it's one of my favorite chaos model, I guess, that they released.
yeah. Since they improved them with a new model in the past editions, and he is he is way more dynamic than the previous one, raising the axe in the air.
Mm.
And he's in motion. And if you take a look at the 30k Angron, you can see there is a strong similarity between the two, between how Angron is moving and how Karn is moving as well. They have
They're
that
really
kind of
dynamic.
they have that kind of advance, like a Naruto like advance, so to say. Yeah, yeah, I know you can relate. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So exactly, yes. So I'm having quite a blast here painting Abaddon. I was exclusively waiting for this stream to actually paint him, and frankly, I'm pretty going like with my mind on the spot decisions. It's not going to be like on the box art, but the point is, I want him to stand apart. And if you paint every single models as the box art, then your miniature won't stand apart. So what I'm doing here, everything everything has to be in correlation, in contrast with the armor. So the cloth, like, we will go with the purple, and the hilt of the sword and Dracnian, it has to stand out. So on the box art, I can see like it's red. Okay, yes, it's red, and it tends towards orange as well. Okay, good. We'll do something else. The Dracnian we will be painting will eventually kind of have a gold and purple grading. That's what I am aiming for, and it will take a tremendous time painting that, but I don't mind, because in the end it will be so great. It will be so great, and the idea, though, like Orangi, your idea with the pang is so good. Because I will be able to have like some standing point which can relate to one another, from the sword to the cloth. So this will be great. It's all what makes, like, it's all what makes an harmony in a miniature, where you can take a look at it and have several parts in the miniature relate to one another and stand in contrasts. Then I've been thinking, for a long time about painting Dracnian in a certain way rather than having it, with all that blue and white glint. I mean, like we see this we see on every single sword out there. Try it. Go on Instagram. All the swords, have the same design. Some of them stand out. You see that the artist spent a lot of time painting the sword, and that's the whole point. Okay, but you know what I really hate about Instagram is that at some point it can be very discouraging. You know what, Orangi? I have been looking at Instagram for some time, and every single time, it seems like all the miniatures they come out from a Golden Demon contest. Every single one of them. I don't know if I followed them. I did not follow them on purpose. I mean, like, if okay, I like your miniature. I mean, like, okay, I like what you do. I'll follow that. But it seems like it's always out of this world painting and art. I'm like, wow, where do I stand? Where do I stand in this community as an artist, as a miniature painter, when all those so high skill level painters are out there? And it brought me to it brought me thinking, and I was like, okay, like eventually I think I might do a video, okay, on that topic, because every time I look at this, I mean, like, it's a bit discouraging because the level is so high, and let's be honest, I am not there yet. I am not there yet. A lot of people are under leveled Instagram lookers for miniature painting. It's like you look at this and you say, "Wow, it's incredible," and stuff like. Yeah, well, of course it's incredible because there's not a single painter who will post on Instagram with their worst miniature. Like, no. Like, Instagram is the worst place to actually go and get inspiration from. I hate it. I used to like it. I just discovered Instagram and I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. That's great. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. And I think the further I will go there, the further I will unsubscribe from all those from all those followings that I kind of subscribe to. I mean, no, my God, this is not something I don't want to say happy about, but it's not something. It wasn't an experience that I like, certainly. I mean, like, you go there, my God, it's so discouraging. You see all of everything that they're doing, and I say, okay, well, standing, I might be trash. I might be trash compared to what they're doing, and all the skills of the people in general, like, improved so much over the last years, since, like, painting kind of democratized itself with YouTube, and when Games Workshop decided to sell their paints and instruct people on how to use them, because they were not doing this at all. And thank you, legendary Duncan Rhodes. I mean, I still have you in my heart every time I'm painting a single model because you taught me so much. You taught me so much.
Well, I mean, it's all you just need you must see like those guys that do crazy paint and just say, okay, well, that's not my level. I might never be able to because they paint every day, 8 hours a day, so they get to practice a lot. And I think painting is most likely this. Uh, it's just technique that you need
It's not
to
that
work on.
it's not that it's impossible, but it's like it's kind of discouraging, and that's what I regret about going on Instagram
Mm,
and seeing all the stuff that people do. Because come on, you go there and someone who posts a miniature of what they did, they must have spent like 70 hours painting that single miniature, but they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that that's hidden. And that's kind of the that I don't want to open a Pandora box, but that's kind of the hypocrisy of everything that is streamed to us, everything that is shown to us, is that it seems easy because it takes just a second seeing it. I'm sorry, I'm moving the thing around. It takes just a second seeing it, or maybe like the 3 minutes, but behind they work like 40 to 50 hours to achieve that kind of that kind of competence and that kind of
mm.
quality. I mean, and this is frustrating because when you go into Instagram and you take a look at this, it might get you motivated entering into the hobby, but at the same time, it's quite discouraging. And this is not where you should start looking if you want to start painting miniatures.
Well, I mean, depends. I I think I found it more like a bit like Pinterest, where I just use it to find ideas of what could be cool to do, and afterward just trying to aim for something inspired of. But I mean, yeah, there's people that do crazy stuff. One of my favorite is Flame on Miniatures. That the guy is next level. I will probably never get there because it's so much work to get to where he is. There's still some part of talent where there's the brush control, but getting the result that he does, I'm pretty sure I'll probably never be able to because well, I have life that
You
is
have a
other than
life.
painting.
Yeah.
Well, I work other things than my work is not painting miniatures, so that's why I cannot really practice as much as I can.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
of course, painting miniature is a part-time job. I mean, like you'll never get, you 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 will never get in depth of what they are doing. I mean, like it's not something that we can have in mind. I mean, like there are painters. There is I don't know if you noticed that YouTuber, but she it's a woman that used to work for Games Workshop, and her name is Rogue Hobbies,
Yeah, no, no.
and and yeah, she actually this is the kind of person who used to paint all the time. For sure. I mean, like you work at Games Workshop. I mean, you paint. I've seen a video of her saying, advising about how the Games Workshop was taking pictures of the miniatures,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount of work behind is again tremendous. As I was saying earlier, they are doing so much behind the scenes, and one of the things I didn't know, because I used to argue with one of my friends about the fact of, whether or not if Games Workshop were photoshopping their everything that they were posting on their box arts, like Space Marine box arts and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, this is true because she gave the whole recipe for the miniatures to appear as good as possible on the box art. And they do. I was kind of, no, seriously? Like, my friend was right and I was wrong. They are really photoshopping every damn thing. And they do what it's called photo stacking. They actually take a picture of the miniature on several, not several angles, but they focus on several parts of the miniature. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they take the whole picture, and then let's say they focus on the head, then they focus on something behind, and then they focus on the leg, and then right leg, and this is really how they do it. They put all the things together, they Photoshop it, and they do what is called photo stacking. Is that the system will, whoops, I'm sorry about that. The system will rearrange the picture so that every part of the miniature appears as good as possible without any loss of focus in any single way.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised. Well, I must assume in all my naivety, because I'm a naturally naive person, I didn't think that they were actually doing that. I thought they were super good at what they were doing. But it actually explains a lot. It explains a lot about, all that needs to be done to appear as good as possible. And Games Workshop is really the leading authority in everything that is, as the miniatures and the hobby. So of course they have all the tricks. They have all the tricks, and we believe them. This is not a rant against Games Workshop, but it's just to expose once again that what you see is not what you get. So what you see is not what you get in that kind of field.
Yeah, well, I mean, you need to have like crazy good pictures to actually sell models. So when you see a picture of models of Game Workshop, you want to buy them because it's so gorgeous.
Absolutely. They don't have to, to force us. That I think this is might be the kind of recipe that gets us junky. And you were talking, the other day about, well, it's a common term now that we are plastic junkies,
Mm-hmm.
plastic crack. That's how it is.
Well, plastic crack addict.
Plastic crack, yeah, plastic crack. Yeah, because you get one, you want another, and then another, and then another, and then another. I'm more the kind of person that takes care of his pockets, so I might not be so much influenced by plastic crack, but I must admit that when there is a certain miniature that I need in my army, in my faction, to might stand a chance against playing against my friends, then yeah, I will go to the store and I will get it, and I will pay for it, even if it costs me an arm and a leg. Absolutely. Absolutely, Orangy. And where are you at in your painting right now?
I'm far.
You're
I
far.
haven't left. Yeah, I haven't left the boat yet. The
Um,
boat haven't left the harbor. I'm just.
I stand in the same situation as you because I don't see what you know. It's all right with all that talking. I mean, I love to do it so much. It's just that I don't feel like I am progressing. But you know what? It's still I still like it better than painting alone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's basically because I'm doing two things, two two schemas at the same time. So I'm doing black NNM and white NNM at the same time. So I'm going back and forth because I'm using a lot of glaze technique to get to where I want to go. And it does take time because you need to wait for it to dry. So you do one layer, you wait, so you move to another part and back and forth. So yeah, it looks like nothing right now. It just look like horrendous.
I must admit, I must admit that when you started painting in a non-metallic metal, it's really hard to go back. It's really hard to go back to metal, the metallic paints. Really, it's really hard
Oh
because
yeah.
you know what you can achieve with non-metallic metal, and it's kind of regressing. So honest, personally, I don't like painting with metallic metal anymore. But still, I will do it here and there because I don't want to spend too much time on a single miniature doing all that N&M. Maybe like what I'm doing with Abaddon right now. This is what I will be doing, but he's a character. Like, will I spend all my time painting a whole army in non-metallic metal? Forget about it. It's too much time. Way too much. But yeah, I feel
Um,
you, man. I hope you'll be able to manage all that painting, but it's going to be kind of a hardship going through all that.
yeah, it will be difficult honestly, because well, I like consistency, so I will most likely go all in on NNM everywhere. Like the whole army will be like that.
That's the kind of plan that would get me depressed. That's the kind of plan that
Well,
would get me depressed. I mean, like you start painting an army, and you want to go full NNM. I mean, like wow, you.
yeah, why not? It's fun.
But you'll have a single model painted. I mean, it will take 2 weeks.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, my goal is to aim for paint prizes. So in those tournaments, so I don't care. I'm not yet ready to play tournaments yet with this new army. So I'll take whatever it takes.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this that you really wanted to go deep in the you really wanted to go deep with the uh, with the army winning at tournaments, at least for your painting, because it's really a pain winning against against all those guys because they are so skilled. Totally understand that. Totally.
Yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, it brings more fun, I guess, for me to paint than to play the actual game because I don't care much about the rules in the in the game. So I just do I play sloppy, so I do bunch of errors and I don't care. So I just said and it's easy win for my opponents, but my pleasure is to paint. So
You see, on my side, I would kind of choose my battles, and and going full non-metallic metals on everything. Uh, I don't know, but like winning a prize to play an army, Like if you cannot, if you aim for winning for the best painting, then I guess yeah, it would be worthwhile. And you will see in this case at some points behind, I will be using lead belcher. Okay, even though that the claw will go non-metallic metal, at least for the back over here, there are some parts which will appear just above, just above the cape. So I will go there. I will use lead belcher to paint those parts. Let me see. You see, that's the thing with those paints. They kind of dry. What a shame. Kind of dry up whether you want it or not. If you know if the pot is not properly closed.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's Games Workshop pots, the legendary pots that never really seal the paint, so it always dried up at one point.
Yeah, exactly. My. I mean, I don't want that. ah, at least Abaddon is progressing.
Yeah, that's why I moved away from Citadel paint because their pot is our shit. So if the paint is so expensive that I prefer to have a brand that has a good pot and the colors are actually really working well.
Yeah, and that's a topic we could talk about. I mean, like, what would be the best paint to use? Uh, I know scale for the scale color for me has been like a really a nice discovery. I didn't even know it existed until I've seen it in a Sorastro's painting tutorial
Mm-hmm.
and for Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I see was using those paints, and it's really it's so different if you started painting, you know, with Games Workshop and Citadel, you know, the Citadel brand. I mean, it's like two different beasts as a whole. It's completely different. I mean,
Mm-mm-mm.
really, I was like, oh wow, what is that? And I was really not used to it. Like the consistency is not the same. The time it takes to dry is not the same. Like nothing's the same. But so it was like, oh my. So luckily enough, I decided to test it before on a model on a miniature before starting, you know, to paint it as a whole. Like my because I used those paints to paint for my Thanos project, and it really did really work well. I mean, like it was bonkers, um, but they still have you know that special thing where you got to be careful about mixing it with water. You got to make sure that you're diluting that paint to the optimal level. Otherwise, you know, it won't work really well. That's what I've noticed. And if you dilute them too much, they kind of lose their their adherence to the miniature. I'm saying like basic things, but when you do this with the Citadel paintings, then you get to a point where you understand where there's too much water. But in those, in the scale color, which I have right here, for those, I never actually know when it's liquid enough to apply it on my miniature. So I will apply a layer, and I will apply then another. And this is usually what I did while painting Space Marine helmets on my Chaos Space Marine Terminators. They all have like helmets on their you know, on their standard behind their back,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I was doing one layer, and that's it. Wow, it's not sticking. Maybe I was not shaking it well enough, and the medium inside did not mix enough with, you know, the actual with the actual paint inside. I think this
Mm-hmm.
might have been a problem. I'm pretty positive this might have been a problem. All right. So we're not losing any kind of concentration. This this live stream you will could last around like an hour and a half or like 2 hours. And we are nearing the 1 hour and a half point. So can you believe that? We're already at like an hour and a half through in this live stream. I mean, I
Well,
like it. That's great.
I just realized I messed up, but well, we're gonna fix it.
See, well, I did not notice anything. Well, there comes a point where, you know, we're concentrated in what we are doing, but it's the fun of painting together. And as long as we can get some get together like that, you know, this is this is enough for myself, you know, to have fun and to stream to get streaming on this channel.
Okay, so it's not so bad. I can begin. I can fix it.
You know, YouTube has a lot to do as well with the painting thing. There's a lot of things that you don't see going on around the scene. Like I was kind of not stressed, but um, how can I say that how can I say that in a good way? Kind of astonished about how much preparation you actually need to do a YouTube video. My God,
Yeah.
I didn't know, man. I was like, but you know, it's the journey. It's the journey that counts. I mean, I'm not doing this to get monetized or anything. I'm doing this for fun. Really, it's really a thing I'm doing for fun. I'm not looking at how much subscribers I have. I'm not looking at, you know, how many views. Well, I must admit that I'm trying. I look at it from time to time. Okay, but I'm not really adamant about getting paid or getting AdSense revenue for what I'm doing right now. So the purpose is really, you know, having fun on this journey about something new I just discovered. Ah, and you know the cloth. The cloth might need to be a bit darker. Yeah. In the end, it might need to get darker a bit. So I will apply a single layer of Corvus Black.
Corvus Black.
Absolutely.
It's a weird color. I found this one. It is that the black that is like more has like some red or blue in it. I don't remember. I know it's like not black
It's
black.
like it's the blue.
Okay.
It's the blue. It's like it's a tire like color,
Okay.
but with the purple underneath. Even though that it's a base paint,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be perfect. It's really gonna be super. It's gonna be superb, yeah. I'm trying to see what else would remain to be done? I think I will go, yeah. All right. All right. So I will take a metallic color for this. Let's go with I will do the bullets right here. But we'll go with the metallic color because I don't want to go non-metallic metal in such a small area. Honestly, it will be a waste of time. I have superb metallic colors here. Yeah. And this one's called Balthazar Gold. Yeah. This is like a bronze-like gold. It's a bronze-like gold, and it really matches well with every bronze color you have. And I like to use it as a base coat for bullets and rivets.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I will apply it here. Do-do-do. There we go. So Abaddon is progressing. It's progressing pretty much to my attention. I might not wait until the next live stream to paint him rather.
Why wait when you have fun?
Yeah, exactly. It's just that, sometimes painting alone might get a bit lonely. So eventually, if anyone is watching, though, maybe a rewatch or of this video in the future, then you could join the future live stream, which will be coming. So of course it would be in the chat, but you wouldn't be alone to paint your miniature. Then we will get together. We will have fun painting the miniatures together and maybe answer some questions that you have on painting.
The question is why RNG's paint is so shit.
How?
I was just saying that the question would be like why the RNG's paint was so shit.
Well,
it looks like a fucking rainbow, man.
It's the wedding, not getting conventional in that kind of area is kind of where you can actually shine. When you're not doing what everyone does, is where you can actually get ahead of the crowd. So yeah, you're doing things differently, not maybe by the standards of the industry, but you still end up having your models paint on the table when you want to play a game. I see. I've got since I started playing Imperial Guards, or Astro Militarum as they call them right now. I never painted all of them. I never succeeded in painting all of them. It's not happening. There's too much. There's too many. Like it's a horde army. You need the technique only for those pain in the butt models to paint. I certainly do not regret starting that army. But the most fun I had was painting the tanks, painting the vehicles. And when you take a look at all the comments online about painting vehicles, it's like a threat that the people are offering themselves. I now understand
Mm.
that to a degree because it's way it is kind of relaxing for the eyes to paint something big. So when you paint
Yeah.
something big, it's like I don't have to focus as much as I would have to if I was painting, a single guardsman miniature, and start painting the face and the eyes and having full attention on everything that is going on, in your hands. Now, when you have bigger models, you can relax a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if Games Workshop had the attention, of the scale of the miniatures have grown.
Mm-hmm.
In the recent edition, they went, they went with the Primaris Space Marines. They are
They
bigger,
did.
and honestly, painting a Primaris Space Marine is way easier. It's way convenient. I found it way smoother than painting, all the older Space Marines because I used to play Space Wolves as well. I sold the army, um, but they were still small areas. Gaining a bigger scale in the miniatures is it's really something that I appreciated. That's something that I like. I mean, like, wow, okay, it's easier on the eyes. It's it's less tedious, and I like it. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that change. Not having too many models on the table at the same time because, come on, man, playing with. Do you remember that time when Imperial Guards or Astro Militarum were playing with around like 200 guardsmen on the table just to harass you to the maximum, and there were so many bodies on the table that you could not get through them. You remember those times?
Yep. Or that their shooting phase was taking so long that the game would last 5 hours.
I mean, that's not cool at all. I
No.
mean, the game of Warhammer should not last 5 hours. It should not last 5 hours. And having so many bodies on the table, it's kind of tedious. When I played that huge game with like 12 players, you know, every single turn, everyone was waiting for me to do all my remaining moves before, the opposing factions could do theirs. So it was I had the pressure going on. I had the pressure going on just because I was playing IG. But I had so many bodies on the table. I mean, like I went like all infantry. Man, I shouldn't have done that. I had that time. You could actually do that. I had four basilisk on the. Was was it that time? No, that was my game against my friend Frederic. The four basilisk on the table. You cannot do that anymore. I would have to sell one today.
Well, you can still use them in our Cersei.
Oh yeah, who plays? Who plays? Do they still call them Astra Militarum in the
Um,
RSOC?
no, it's well, maybe I don't know. Maybe, but I know that there's the Solar Auxiliara.
Ah, yeah, I think that's how they call them.
Yeah, and and yeah, I mean it's I, one day when I wanted to play it's called the Astra Militarum. One concept I really dig was the platoons, and I wanted to have six platoons of was it what six troops plus all the commands and heavy and everything
Like the
to
old
cheese.
style guard player would used to play with. Yeah.
Yeah, just to cheese the rules of breaking the formation that you cannot have legally to see
Breaking
what it will behave.
breaking the formations. I don't get you there. I'm
Well,
I might be lacking some.
well, before like you could only have six troops, three heavies, um, and all those and one three HQs and other units like that. But
Okay.
with platoons, you could one troop slot was a platoon. You could field six troops with one command squad, and I think one detachment of heavy weapons.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to. It's the best. This is the era of the best um, deployment for the Imperial Guard, which was in fifth edition, which was a completely different way to build to field your army, and it was so in line. And the people playing at that time with the Imperial Guard, they were so in line with the idea that I am using different rules for fielding my army, and you don't have a clue what I'm talking about until you played this. And when you did, and when you actually get used to how it worked, you could not move away from that. And when you changed factions, building an army, building a rooster was so easy. It was so easy compared to Imperial Guards because you had to, in IG, you had to keep all that chain of command and authority going. Even your orders had to be done in a specific order, starting with your highest command squad in authority. Yeah, that was that was the good time. I remember. I remember, and they never Games Workshop never did bring back that rule with Astra Militarum, which made them so cool. And in on so many forums, I've seen that thing, and they were saying, please bring back the old way of building an army. Please bring this back. And the structure was so different, and it's what made it unique. And in that sense, we're kind of building an attachment to this, the structure, and in particular to the Imperial Guard, which was not present in any other army. You had, in the other factions, like you get an HQ or two HQs, then you have two compulsory troops, and then you go down with whatever you want if it doesn't excess like three units of the same kind. And
Yep.
in IG, it was you have to get two compulsory troop choices, and it has a platoon squad for each, and two standard, infantry troops. So you had to add two platoon squads of 5 guys and four infantry squad of 10 guys, plus the company command squad, which made, just to start, it was 55 bodies on the table just to get starting to play with Astra Militarum. And it was great. It was absolutely great because No one knew the struggle you were getting into to get your army on the battlefield. And all those things that were easy, like I got a Space Marine army. Go, oh yeah, well that's so easy for you. Now let me show you my red threads towards every picture of what I need to. When you were building an Astro Militarum army, it was bonkers. It was good times because I had the time of my life playing Astro Militarum during that period, and Games Workshop never brought it back. They never ever brought it back, and I guess it was too much fun, and it will remain in the past of the Astra Militarum battles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
there's no way they're bringing this back because it was way too cool. And sadly enough, when something is way too cool, they tend to remove it. Oh, that was really great. That was really great. Now there's a guy at Games Workshop saying, "Oh, you know what? We'll remove this." Ah, come on, man. Seriously? Seriously? Please, people at GW, please remain with your old ways. You know why I hated the most? When
Keep you always bring back Matt Ward.
Bring bad. Matt Ward can't stay where he is. Matt Ward can stay where he is. He can't stay where he is. And besides the death threats he was getting, it was an awful era. I still was that Zendry Dust? Yeah. I still hate to this day what they did with 6th edition.
Mm.
6th edition was I was listening to some podcast, and they mentioned without any hesitation, they mentioned this was nearly the death of Warhammer 40k. And you remember at that time, at that precise period in time, what was really, really popular? War
I don't know.
Machine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
War Machine. War Machine and Horde were taking over the market because they were so innovative that Games Workshop had to turn around completely and copy what they were actually doing. There were, what is that? I'm sorry, I got something on my miniature. I don't know what it is. Okay, whatever. Do you remember the Privateer Press were the pioneers in releasing gargantuan models? It was not the gargantuan models; it was the colossal models. Do you remember that?
No, I stopped playing that game before they start using colossals.
It doesn't ring a bell.
No.
Okay, when they released colossals, Games Workshop were not in the game, and they had to introduce to remain competitive with Privateer Press. They had to introduce the Knights Army, like the big models that would those miniatures would rival the colossals in War Machine and Horde. I mean, like those but War Machine and Horde, the miniatures were so big that and they were so awesome that you had no choice but to get one for your army. Everyone who was playing, we called it the Warhammer Horde. Everyone who was playing this, they were all playing their colossal because the miniature was so awesome. It was so awesome. It was, like you said earlier, it was bonkers. It was bonkers. It was bonkers, and it was all the rage. And GW tried to catch up, but it was a bit too late. I don't know how they managed to survive in the end. I don't know what kind of twist of fate. Oh yeah, it's because it's because Privateer Press screwed up on the release on their latest edition. That's what happened. Oh my god. The rules were not the same anymore. And they were getting into that trend of improving the rules and getting, but this game was so put so much emphasis on the competitive side. It was the competitive side of Warhammer Horde was way deeper than Warhammer 40k. Totally, totally. And what I heard of is that it was at a point it was so balanced that every tournament players would rather play that game, Warhammer Horde, because it was working like way much like a chess game, but you had to know exactly what the opponent had, in his hands, okay, to counter him and everything. There were great times, but then again, if they didn't screwed up, we would be into a different world right now. That's for sure. That's for sure. I don't know if Games Workshop would still be, the leading, in the industry. I don't know. But I guess, a twist of fate occurred in their favors, and they took the opportunity as a business, to conquer the market again, and there we are. Do they have a challenger right now? They have no competition at all.
Nope. And they took advantage of that to bring forth new rule sets that would have killed every games of Game Workshop if there was a serious competitor in the gaming sphere. But since there no one, they were able to do those drastic change, like destroying Warhammer Fantasy and flipping the all the rules for 40k and relaunching all those new figurines for Space Marine, make you buy the whole thing again. If there was a serious competitor, they would probably never be able to pull that.
Absolutely. It's like when there's no one running in front of you, why would you bother trying to run faster and better? Everyone's behind. Everyone's running after Games Workshop. Everyone wants to do like Games Workshop. That doesn't leave a lot of room. They've taken over the market, and what are we painting right now? Games Workshop models.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what we're painting. And I've played some games. I've played some games back then. Marvel Crisis Protocol is an incredible game. It's super fun to play. I mean, the rules are perfect. The rules are perfect, or nearly perfect. And another game that is taking, the market, the market by assault right now seems like Star Wars Legion.
Yep, great
is getting ahead, and now we're talking about Disney. Is Disney going to? Well, they have the license. The company doing them have the. I think it's the same. I don't remember. I think I have the box behind me. Yeah, there it is. That's Marvel Crisis Protocol right there, but I don't remember the name of the company issuing it.
Well, they changed it. Now it's Atomic Mass Game that produced.
Yeah, it is. That's what's written on the box there. It's Atomic Mass Game, and is Atomic Mass Game doing Star Wars Legion as well?
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yep,
it's
yep,
the
yep,
same.
yep.
So they
Yeah,
have
go ahead. Sorry.
they have this, like, they have this momentum.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting into the momentum, and if they get enough drive, if they get enough followers, they might eventually end up reaching that point where Games Workshop will turn around in their race and say, "Hey, there's someone behind. I need to
Yep.
hurry up and do something again." Because that's the same thing. The same thing happened with Privateer Press. Okay, when they reached Games Workshop and exceeded Games Workshop at a point, Games Workshop had to run for their money because they were losing so much of the market because the rules were so crappy. I mean, they had so much crappy rules in the sixth edition. It was the game was dead. No one for a year and a half or nearly 2 years, every single model of every army that I had, every faction that I had, remained in their boxes. They didn't move. However, my privateer press case, yeah, I muffled it. I screwed up on that one. My privateer press case, I was bringing around. I was playing with friends. People introduced me to that, to that game. We had a tremendous time. It was great. Oh yeah, and it's already it's 2 past 9. Well, we're nearing 9 o'clock. 9 minutes to 9 o'clock. Orangey. Just to
Yeah.
say that it's already been 2 hours, and 2 hours is the goal. Was the goal that well is the goal that I set to end this podcast. Well, podcast. I'm sorry to end this streaming.
Okay.
So, did you enjoy your time?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I have nothing really good to show. I'm just layering base coat right now for all the and then I'm like separating the highlights and the shadows, and I haven't started blending nothing yet. But
Yes.
yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed your time.
Yeah. Well, if you
I
if
hope you
you want
enjoyed your time.
to invite me again, that'll be cool.
Yeah, it might be something that we could do every Friday. At 7, if you like. I mean, like, if people can actually join us in the stream, so that we can all paint together and enter the comments there in the chat. We'll be happy to answer your questions and have some interactions along the way as well. So I hope that everyone, if you're watching a rewatch, that you had a good time on the topics. You can leave comments below, okay, whether they are positive, negative. If you have something to say about that you did not like about the stream, please do so, and mention it in the comments. And we really appreciate your support. I wish you have a nice night, everyone. Good night. Get in the house. Out.